I was born a broken little toy.
I can't remember the exact memory of sitting down in my room and what inspired me to write this song, other than the fact that I was thinking about this huge burden on my shoulder that I was carrying. It wasn't just a burden, it was a secret as well that I'd been carrying for 2-3 years, about being adopted. I think there's something about being in an Asian family that they don't want you to tell other people.
'Cause if you don't want me, then no one else should.
I was in a small city outside of Amsterdam on exchange, and we had just gotten the cheapest ticket out. We were walking around and we stumbled into this tea shop. They were selling those tea flowers that slowly opened up in hot water into a full bloom. We put the tea ball into the hot water, and I was just looking at the tea unravel. It's very, very slowly into a full bloom. And I just started thinking this entire process of me figuring out how to process the truth of me being adopted. It doesn't have to be an ugly, painful process. It could really be just kind of a slow kind of unraveling into something quite beautiful. So I was in that in a state of mind where literature and stories were very within reach. So I was thinking about the shortest story in the world. For sale, baby shoes, never worn. This short story has it's very popular in the creative writing community. They always bring up this flash fiction piece, and that's the thing. No one ever analyzes it because it's 6 words. How do you want to analyze it? So I sat down and I was like, okay, what is the backstory of this story? I guess I projected my own experience and my own feelings about being adopted into something very innocent and childlike, because I feel that it has a lot to do with childhood. And I think the best way that I processed it, and the best way that I could write about it, was by kind of putting myself into a very story-like fairy tale setting, and then that made it very palatable to write about, rather than going hardcore into oh, I feel so unwanted, So I kind of put that into the narrative of a toy just being very sad to be unwanted, and then being very relieved to be picked up, but at the same time the kind of existential terror that consumes you when you are at the checkout aisle and you're like, oh my god, this is how much I'm worth. How many kids know exactly how much they're worth, that kind of thing.
If you don't want